அது முன் டயர் மட்டும் தான் இருக்கு. மற்றெல்லாம் அந்த அதை பார்த்தோன்னே திருவிழா சொல்லல, அந்த அளவுக்கு சரியான டேமேஜ்.
We pay interest amounting to 40 million rupees a month to the banks.
I strongly felt that some information is sensitive, and it should be only fair that just like the players' salaries are not disclosed, that commercial issues should be confidential.
Bring you the very latest from here at home and across the world. A very good evening. This is Primetime News live on News First. I'm Mahina Bongzo.
A very good evening. I'm Shane Silva.
As usual, we start off with a look at the stories making headlines tonight.
Police fire tear gas to disperse protesting university students. Trade unions of the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation warn of a petrol shortage. And Minister S.B. Dissanayake reveals the name of an individual whose assistance was sought by Ranil Wickramasinghe to defeat Gamini Dissanayake.
Take a look at some local news now. Well, the photographs you just witnessed were of an accident that took place last night. 6 individuals were killed when a 3-wheeler collided head-on with a speeding bus.
A 3-wheeler carrying 5 individuals of the same family was travelling towards Kalmune town from the Palmune area. They were visiting a friend in order to hand over several items to be sent abroad to a relative. Even though the family reached the Nindavur area, they could not proceed any further. The 3-wheeler they were travelling in collided head-on with a bus plying from Akraipattu to Colombo, killing the 5 passengers and the driver. The deceased include an infant and a 2.5-year-old child. The police stated that reckless driving by both drivers had caused the accident. The bus collided with the 3-wheeler and dragged it along without stopping. Lives could have been saved if the bus stopped as soon as the accident occurred. The bus drove on to the Kalmune police station.
அக்கரப்பத்திலேருந்து கொழும்புக்கு போயிட்டு இருந்தேன். சரியா ஒரு 8:45 மணிக்கு இருக்க மாதிரி நினைக்கிறேன். அந்த டைமில் வந்து அட்டப்பள்ள இந்த ஒரு எல்லை பகுதியில் வந்து நாங்கள் போன அந்த சொகுசு பஸ் வந்து திருந்த மாதிரி பிரேக் போட்டு விட்டாங்க. அப்போ திருந்த மாதிரி பிரேக் போட பஸ் நின்றோன்னு என்னடாப்பா அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு நாங்கள் பஸ்ஸை விட்டு இறங்கி பார்த்தோம். எங்கட பஸ் முன்னுக்கு பார்த்து எங்கட கண்ணாடிலாம் உடைஞ்சி முன்னு ஹெட்லாம் இட்டு இதெல்லாம் ஆடிப்பட்டு போயிட்டு அதுக்கப்புறம் என்ன போயின்னு தெரியலை எங்களுக்கு. அதுக்கப்புறம் பஸ்ஸுக்கு பின்னுக்கு வந்து அடுத்த சைடில் பார்த்தோம் ஒரு ஏதோ ஒன்று அடிப்பட்டு கிடக்க மாதிரி இருந்தது. ஓடி போய் அங்கே போய் பார்த்தா ஒரு 3-wheeler உண்டு, ஃபுல்லாக டேமேஜ். அதில் முன் டயர் மட்டும்தான் இருக்குது. மற்றெல்லாம் அந்த அதை பார்த்தோன்னே திருவிழா சொல்லல, அந்த அளவுக்கு சரியான டேமேஜ். அடிப்பட்டு கிடந்தா அதில் பார்த்தா ஒரு பொம்பளை இருந்தவ. முதல் நாங்கள் பொம்பளை தான் கண்டேன். அதுக்கப்புறம் ஒரு சைடில் வந்து இன்னும் ஒரு ஆம்பளை ஏதோ அப்படின்னா அது டிரைவர் சொன்னாங்க. அந்த டைமில் வந்து நாங்கள் வந்து அந்த பெரிய சொகுசு பஸ் வந்து நிற்கல. அது என்ன காரணத்தில் நிற்கலன்னு தெரியல எனக்கு.
The final rites of the deceased individuals were performed at the Kalmune public burial grounds this morning. 40,887 accidents were reported last year, in which 2,664 individuals were killed. 13,410 individuals sustained injuries in these accidents. Traffic Administration and Road Safety Director SSP K. Arsaratnam says that 10,966 accidents have been reported up to the 31st of July this year. 1,402 individuals have been killed in these accidents, while 2,828 have sustained injuries.
Law to be strictly implemented against 3-wheeler drivers transporting more than 3 passengers at a time. We will not stop with legal action against the driver. We hope to take action against the owner of the 3-wheeler as well. Is the law being limited to books? Shouldn't the public respect the law?
On to a story that made the headlines tonight. Now, police fired tear gas and water cannons to disperse protesters at a demonstration organized by the Inter-University Students Federation in Colombo today. Police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rohana said that water cannons were fired when the protesters attempted to enter the high security zone in Fort. The police later fired tear gas when the protesters continued to disregard police orders.
The Inter-University Students Federation, or IUSF, organized this demonstration calling on the government to immediately reopen universities and resolve problems in the education sector. The demonstration commenced at around noon today opposite the Fort railway station. The protesters marched from the railway station to the central bus stop in Petta. Severe traffic congestion was reported in the area as a result of the demonstration. Accordingly, the police took steps to temporarily close all Katmawata in Petta to vehicular traffic. The protesters who gathered at the central bus stand then marched to the Lake House roundabout.
Minister S.P. Dissanayake made a revelation at a meeting held in Polonnaruwa today. Speaking at this meeting, Minister Dissanayake said that Ranil Wickremesinghe had sought the assistance of UMP Working Committee member Malik Samaravikrama in 1994 to ensure the defeat of the party's presidential candidate Gamini Dissanayake.
At the 1994 election, we defeated the UNP after 17 years. When the seats were counted, it was an even 112 to 112. But Gamini Dissanayake asked President Vijay Tunga to give him one day, as he was hoping to convince MP Chandrasekaran and the Muslim Congress to form a government. It was Ranil Wickremesinghe who helped us then. He immediately resigned as Prime Minister and left temple trees. As a result of this, President Vijay Tunga had no option but to swear in a Prime Minister. Therefore, the President called up Chandrika Kumaratunga.
Ranil Wickremesinghe mahatya tamai.
At the 1994 presidential election, Ranil Wickremesinghe fed information to us and to Chandrika Bandanayake from within the UNP camp, saying that Gamini Dissanayake must be defeated. He told us what was happening inside the UNP camp. I asked Mangala Samarweera what Sirisena's duties in 1994 were. The presidential election campaign was handled entirely by a group, including then ministers Mangala Samarweera and S.B. Dissanayake.
Minister Maithripala has called for a debate on this. There were ballot papers of two persons who were working at Ranil Wickremesinghe's home. These two ballot papers were sent to Chandrika, asking her to cast a vote for anyone. The ballot papers were brought by Malik Samaravikrama. That is how they assisted us.
Malik Samaravikrama තමයි ගෙනල්ලා දුන්නේ. එහෙම තමයි උදව් කරේ අපි.
Who is saying the truth?
High Court Judge Nihal Sunil Rajapaksa took oaths as a judge of the Court of Appeal today. Justice Rajapaksa was sworn in by President Mahinda Rajapaksa.
Justice Nihal Sunil Rajapaksa, a product of Dharma Ashoka College Ambalangoda and Ananda College Colombo, joined the bar from the batch of 1980-81 and has held numerous positions in the judiciary. Members of Justice Rajapaksa's family and the Secretary to the President, Lalit Veeratunga, were present at the swearing-in.
Raising further questions about the crime rate in Sri Lanka, yet another killing was reported from Kurukulawa in Ragama yesterday.
A large group armed with guns arrived here and charged inside. My son-in-law was seated in this chair. I was outside in the yard near the well. Then I heard gunshots from inside the house. I was afraid and therefore hid behind the well.
The man who was shot dead has been identified as 31-year-old Kalum Vijayasiri Wardana. The police say that he used to provide loans on interest. The residents at the house say about 8 men armed with guns broke in at about 6:30 last evening. The victim, who was wounded in the shooting, succumbed to his injuries at the Ragama Teaching Hospital. Meanwhile, the final rites of the father and daughter who were killed in a shooting were observed at the Polhena Moragahahena Public Cemetery in Horana today. 4-year-old Tushana Navanjana and her father Susanta Premakumara were shot at by an unidentified group on Sunday night. Susanta Premakumara also provided loans on interest as his main source of income. Numerous killings of this nature have been reported from across the island in the recent past. 63-year-old Lionel Silva, a resident of Station Road, Ratmalana, was killed on the 23rd of this month in a shooting carried out by an armed gang. A father, mother and daughter were killed on the 18th of this month at a house on Ramakrishna Road in Vallavatta. Members of the public from across the country voiced their concerns over these incidents to News First.
I think ignorance among the people is the primary cause for the increased number of crimes. I think it will be good if the media can create awareness among the people.
The income gap has grown tenfold. I think the failure to manage this is the primary cause for the growing crime wave. I believe that the main cause for this is that the relevant authorities did not take steps to prepare for such a situation in the post-conflict era. The law is not being enforced. The authorities are following a policy of silence. The ordinary people are living in fear and suspicion. I believe that the primary cause for this is the failure to mete out punishment to criminals.
Former Chief Executive Officer of the International Cricket Council, Harun Logart, who has now taken up a new role as an independent advisor for Sri Lanka cricket, was introduced to the media this morning. While Logart refrained from divulging his remuneration, the chairman of Sri Lanka Cricket, Upali Dharmadasa, made the staggering revelation that Sri Lanka Cricket was paying 40 million rupees a month as interest to its creditors as a result of the financial crisis it was in. Let's take a look at what Logart and Dharmadasa had to say.
Chairman of Sri Lanka Cricket Upali Dharmadasa noted that Logart had not been given any brief on what was expected of him as an independent advisor of Sri Lanka Cricket.
And I think we are lucky in Sri Lanka for outsider to come and see what is on here. We didn't give a single brief or anything. We have an open book and a copy of the Constitution to study the setup and to direct us on the right direction for the future. Mr. Logart had been given, as I said, an open book, a task to look at all aspects of Sri Lanka cricket and to give us a report on every aspect, into the coaching, into the finance, into the administration, right down the line.
My role is one of an independent advisor. I will carefully analyze and put on the table those recommendations which I believe will position Sri Lankan cricket for the future. We can't, as leaders, sit today and only do what's good for today. We need to prepare for tomorrow. I'm fortunate in that I come from the outside, so to speak. I don't have any brief or political affiliations, so I'll do what I believe, in my view, would be the best for the cricket of Sri Lanka for the future.
Speaking further at the media briefing, Harun Logart said he will be remaining in the island until the end of October. However, Logart refrained from disclosing the amount he will be paid by Sri Lanka Cricket for the services he renders as an independent advisor.
It's interesting when the media often talks about the public body and wants certain information, but even whilst I was at the ICC, I strongly felt that some information is sensitive. And it should be only fair that just like the players' salaries are not disclosed, that commercial issues should be confidential. They're between the board and myself.
Recent media reports, however, state that Logart is to be paid a staggering $100,000 or 13.5 million rupees for a period of 25 days. According to these media reports,